We both have so much going on. That's kind of rad.
Well, you more so than me.
That's not true.
I don't really have much romance.
Well, Travis
You got to make out with that girl.
Right. I think. Well, right. That was the one thing, but which was great, by the way.
With the helmet on?
What?
With the helmet on?
No.
Okay.
No,
good.
I was off at that point. Yeah. But,
that would have been a bummer.
Yeah, with the whole long, drawn-out Travis romance arc last season, I'm really happy actually that I didn't have to like jump back into it.
And it's more like comedy.
Right.
Based.
Yeah, I get to be
situational comedy.
Right. But
For
you
you.
have a new.
Yeah, well, we deal with our relationship a little bit in the first part of the season.
Yes. Yeah.
And then Lori meets a boy via Twitter who's actually stationed in Afghanistan. But as Ellie points out, he may or may not be a soldier, may or may not be in Afghanistan, may or may not be a man. But it turns out he is a guy, and he's played by the lovely and talented Edwin Hodge. And we'll find out what happens. I don't know yet.
We only have one episode.
I know, but we don't know.
It's more to be continued.
But I had heard that there might be more Travis Lori romance at that.
Yeah.
We've become like the Ross and Rachel,
Yeah.
not to reference Friends, but it is one of my favorite shows. So I have a hard time not referencing it. But we're like the Grayson and Jules are not the will they, won't they.
No.
I think we've taken that slot for everyone.
Yeah.
It might be a little bit of the impetus for Lori and her, as she says, like real relationship with her Twitter boyfriend, which actually turns out to be like quite a sweet relationship. But you mostly over Twitter and Skyping. It's Skyping.
Oh, Skype too.
And we have Skype sex.
Right.
Skype.
I was trying to come up with a name.
Not a thing. That's not a thing. Nope. Please stop.
It's hard.
And then I think, I don't think engagements necessarily make people think about that stuff. I think weddings do. So, as I said, we haven't seen the episode, so I don't know what's going to happen this way. There was discussion at one point about maybe something. They like to put it in the finale.
I hope they continue to just kind of tease it and draw it out as long.
You want to make out with me?
Well, no, I just don't want to. I want to jump the shark. I want to get as much mileage out of this as possible. So, and after, once you cross that line, it's just not interesting anymore. It's happened, and there's not anywhere to go, really.
It can be.
Yeah. Listen, I'm
Ross and Rachel. Well, first of all, I love that Lori gets an ankle monitor. I think it's appropriate and a natural progression. And, when people talk about drinking without consequences, here is clearly a consequence. But it's not even from her drinking. She gets into, do you remember this story? It's been so long ago. You have to forgive us. It's normally you get to do press in the beginning of the season when everything's fresh, and we are now wrapping up our season and trying to remember. And we haven't even seen, Krista gets to see all the episodes because she does the music. Court obviously does. She's a producer. But for scrubs like us, we wait till it's on TV.
We're kept way out of the loop.
No, I get into a bar fight, I think.
Tampa or something?
It definitely has something to do with Tampa, for sure. But she does have it for a couple months, and then she gets to get it off. And she only breaks the rules with it one time.
Right. Yeah,
and Travis helps her out.
Yeah, Busy's got the ankle monitor for several episodes, and I'm wearing a helmet for several episodes. So I don't know what we did exactly to deserve that.
I feel like an ankle monitor bracelet is far less obtrusive than wearing a helmet.
The helmet's way more noticeable.
But I have to say, you came out of the helmet, and now your hair looks really cute.
Thank you.
No helmet.
So yeah, the story we were told about the helmet was that the whole reason I'm wearing a helmet in the first place is just Bill's payback at me for having such a bad haircut last year. Which, if I had ever thought in a million years that they would have gotten as much mileage out of my hair as they seem to have, I would have just cut it a long time ago.
But they told you to just cut it, and you didn't.
Well, because I was too committed at that point. I was in the middle of it, and I'd already gone through the whole season.
I believe what happened was that Dan had in his head an image of what he wanted his hair to look like, and he felt like it was just an inch or so away from that length, right?
know.
And you kept saying, just trust me.
Trying to get my Orlando Bloom on.
I know what's going to happen. It's gonna...
You weren't having it.
But we weren't having it, but we, I feel like they had to suffer lots of Twitter comments, like, what's wrong with Dan Byrd's hair?
They spurred it on, too.
They did.
They
by questions like, hey guys, what do you think of Dan Byrd's awful hair?
Right, exactly. Yeah, it's a bit leading. So the helmet was on for 8 episodes, which now is more than half of our season.
I think the ankle bracelet is on for 5.
Okay.
I think I get it off after 5.
So
You don't want Lori to be hemmed in too much.
Right.
She needs to be free to go to Tampa. No, we don't know.
I was asking your characters
Totally in the dark. We're totally in the dark. We shoot it next week, and I mean, we have not seen a page.
No.
I'm just gonna say it.
I think they're trying to.
They're trying to keep it under wraps, I
Right.
think. And they knew that we were going to do all this press, and they didn't want
They
anyone
didn't
to
want
be
us to know,
tempted.
of course.
But what's been really amazing to me is that going to these viewing parties and seeing our fans' reactions to the first episode.
Mm-hmm.
Because even though maybe some of them have read they're going to get engaged this year, people really react so strongly to that episode at the end, and it's such a romantic moment. And I don't know how your viewing parties were, but there's audible gasps and then awes, and it's really sweet to be able to have that kind of interaction with your fans and be able to see a response to the work that you're doing. So that's been really fun.
I think it's kind of a luxury in a way, because it sort of frees you from having to sort of follow the week-by-week numbers and reactions from people online, and in a way that gives you kind of more creative freedom, because you don't have to...
You're not answering to anyone
you're
yet.
not answering to all the feedback.
And the writers aren't answering to anyone.
Right. Or improvement.
And we're not going in with the crews, the crew on, whatever, Thursday morning or the next morning on TV by the numbers or whatever, checking
Don't plug them.
I'm just saying,
None
checking
of
the
them are
ratings
here,
online. Yeah, but I think, in a certain way, when you work on a television show, you do feel like what you do exists in a vacuum anyway.
Right.
And that's why the viewing party thing that Bill and Kevin came up with has just been really awesome and fantastic, and such a great idea, but also kind of so rewarding for us to be able to go sit with our fans and, gossip with them about the characters and watch the shows with them. It's been really cool.
Yeah, it definitely reinvigorates everyone. Just kind of...
Even the crew. And the crew's so excited, what happened at the Vegas viewing party? What happened in Chicago? They want to hear stories as much as,
The Vegas viewing party, they were probably looking for other kinds of stories, fan reaction. It's been great. I mean, because, the only feedback we get on a regular basis is maybe just people who recognize us who, we don't really get to talk about anything with, but to actually sit with the people that are watching the show, it just sort of crystallizes everything, for you and why we're doing it.
I like everything. I like the freedom that this job affords. I like that from day one, Bill Lawrence has said to us, make it yours. That there's room for us to pitch jokes on set. There's room for the cameramen to pitch jokes. I mean, it's a really open, fun place to work.
And they are not funny people.
That's not true. We've taken pitches from Rich, and when a joke isn't working. It's hard when you're not doing it like a traditional sitcom in front of an audience.
Right.
Your judge, the way that you base it is off of the audience of the crew members. So, a lot of these guys have been together since Scrubs, and some even before then, and they're really responsive in rehearsals. When I come out with a crazy outfit, I feel like they're really great to us and generous to us about giving us feedback. But Bill has really set this tone that I assume he had on his other shows too, where we just are allowed to have a lot of involvement in our characters, and that's just incredibly freeing and something that doesn't happen a lot as an actor in television, because you get a lot of people who get very controlling about the words or about the look, or you have to do every episode a wardrobe fitting and the producer gets final pick on your clothes. And literally, I mean, I do all my wardrobe, hair, and makeup. I with
Well, it's a
with the
collaboration,
team.
you and me.
Yeah, well, you
And
pick
we
it.
get
Yeah,
together and we talk about
you're like
it.
more boob.
Not enough cleave. I like it, but more cleave.
But and so that for me has been really exciting and really fun and something that I love to do anyway. And just finding her and finding the heart in it and making it, taking these ridiculous things that she has to say and these crazy stories and making it feel like it actually happened to a real human. It's fun.
Somewhat real.
It's challenging. I don't know, dude. I met some Lorries yesterday in the San Francisco airport. It was so intense. And my husband, as we walked away, I just turned to my husband and I was like, Lori. He's like, I know, that was crazy. They exist.
Oh yeah,
Don't-
for sure.
Oh, yeah.
You're on
why
the scene.
That's why it resonates.
You're
Yeah,
in the
you mean
club scene. Yeah, right?
Yeah. Most of my best friends are Lori types. So
Especially in Florida.
Well, the South is full of them. And I was in Wilmington for 2 years filming Dawson's Creek, so there was a lot of like UNCW, UNCW,
what's that?
Sure.
University of North Carolina, Wilmington,
Oh.
a lot of girls that were very much Lori.
UNLV's Vegas.
Right.
That's another really clever, like, promotional
And
idea.
something
they
that
came up
people
with.
loved.
Right.
They loved finding us in other shows.
And both of these things, I've never heard of any other show doing stuff like this.
No, well, I think that, look, Bill Lawrence is very much a man who moves with the times, and I think that he recognized that we're in a new era of doing things, and, with online content becoming what it is, and social media is what it is, I think that it's going to be up to showrunners and people who are involved in these television shows to have, a direct line to their fans and ask them for help. Like, you like our show? Good. Get 10 people to watch it, because that's what we need. And, he's really creative in that way.
We're lucky to have someone like him who has the resource and clout to be able to pull these kind of things off,
and he's
too.
incredibly proactive.
Yeah.
I mean, even if Bill hadn't footed the bill himself, which he did, I feel like he would have found some sponsorship from a winery or something. I feel like he would have found the means to do this. So anyway.